So once again, I welcome all of you into this webinar. Let me just start with an official welcoming to each of you into this webinar. First, I would like to thank all the dear participants for taking the time and being into this webinar. And most importantly, our guest, Dr. Mona N for being with us for this webinar, not being in her busy schedule and taking time and being with us into this webinar. So we are all aware about the webinar topic that is build your career with the project management. In today's fast-paced and dynamic business environment, the ability to effectively manage projects have become a highly sought-after skill. To whether you are a seasoned professional or to a recent graduate who wants to enter into the workforce or build a career in project management. So these can open door, or the project management program now, because of this, is opening doors to many opportunities and in many industries as well. So with its emphasis on leadership and problem solving and strategic thinking, the project management offers a rewarding and a fulfilling path for individuals looking to make a lasting impact to achieve this professional success. With this note, let me welcome once again our dear participants as well as Dr. Shah into this webinar. Before I hand over to Dr. Shah for her session, let me just give a quick introduction about her. Dr. Mona N, the visionary behind Vayati Systems and Research Inc., an esteemed institute dedicated to advancing knowledge in management and sustainability and leadership. With a focus on training, curricular development, content design, and research, Dr. Shah strives to facilitate the swift dissemination of learning. Dr. Shah's professional journey commenced as a professor and later encompassed prestigious roles such as Dean at renowned management schools, including RICS School of Built Environment at Amity University and Indian Institute of Real Estate, and much more. Moreover, she is a prolific author, penned works such as Millennials, Post to Lead, Marketing Real Estate in India, and Property Matters Made Easy. Her expertise extends beyond books, as she has contributed extensively to the numerous national and international journals and publications. Welcome, Dr. Shah.
Thank you, Renu. I waited for that. Thank you for making me the host. And I guess I should take over from here. And I think the rules have been explained that all of you, I'm going to talk with you, and it's going to be a conversation. So the only way I can talk with you is by you writing in the chat box. I will be checking the chat box very frequently, and we will be communicating in that manner. Towards the end, as Renu has said, I was listening to that. She said that if you don't have any background noises, you can definitely unmute and you can, ask your questions, and I'm willing to take them. So it's not a very long presentation. It's more like, I love to talk with youth like you, and, I like to share my ideas, because where I am now, very, very, very many years. Thank you, Michael. You said you are welcome. So thank you so much. Yeah, it is always a pleasure to talk to all my students in Africa. I wish I could be there with you, but then Africa is a big country. And as so many myths around Africa, where people think that whole of Africa is the same, but it is not. I know y'all are all very different. So wherever you have joined from, Ghana, Zambia, Tanzania, Chad, South Africa, wherever you all are from, welcome. So I'm looking forward to this, because what happens is people don't understand what project management is and where the careers in project management lie. So it's a very, very important, and it's, any word that I can describe will fall short of really telling you the import or the importance of project management in your life. Every little thing you do in your life can be termed as a project when you begin to make that as your life skill. So all of you, I have to thank you that you all have joined here on a weekend in the afternoon. And you all are going to spend some time with me, but I hope that all this time that you spend with me is going to help you, is going to enable you to get that cutting edge, something different from all others who are trying to get a job and find it very difficult to do so. Because you will stand out if you say that, yes, I have been a student of project management. I have the confidence to, take on projects and execute them. So all of you are special because you all have taken the trouble to join. All of you will definitely have a cutting edge compared to those who have not had the good fortune to learn about project management. So with that, I begin, and I will share my screen with you, and I will, you will keep on asking me. As I said, it's a dialogue. It's not a monologue. My name is Mona. So it's not a monologue. It's not a monologue. You have to be talking with me, and you have to be giving me your ideas on the side also. So with that, you can see that my screen is here. Please indicate to me either through a reaction that you can see the screen, that it is visible to you. You can raise your hand. Even if one or two raise your hands, I will know that you can now see the screen, and then it makes it easy for me to proceed into the session. So, okay, Edubex has given me the go ahead. Thank you. I guess it's true for everybody now. You all can see the screen. Here is the name of my firm. It is called Vayati Systems and Research Incorporated. The website is there. You can visit the website, and the emails are also there. So if you have any questions, it can be done. Thank you, Archie. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Jamio Yakin. Now, if I go wrong in spelling or in pronouncing your names, please forgive me. I've already asked for your forgiveness at the beginning. So only when I get to know you, I will be able to know your names better. So here we are with Vayati Systems for the next 40 odd minutes, and we are going to get to know how we can build our career using project management. So you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram. You can search, and we can see how we can link up. If you have any questions, you can ask over there also after the session is over. Now, today what we will do is a quick, there isn't going to be much that you're going to not be put through anything very heavy. It's going to just be talking to you about what is project management in a very, and that's why I need that chat to be very, very active, because there are going to be questions and you're going to try to answer me all those in the chat. So what is project management? Why project management? What is the cutting edge advantage that all of you have when you get into the world of, project management? Careers and opportunities where project management can be used. All this is, something that you will gain from this session. So Gabriel says, so good to be here finally after connection challenges. Good afternoon, Dr. Shah. Good afternoon, Gabriel. Yes, connection is what we need. Connection is what we have challenges with. But never mind, there's going to be a recording for all those who have their trouble. They can always listen to the recording later. So we'll just get into the first. What is project management? This was the first question that I have for you. And I'm going to show you a few pictures, and you are going to tell me whether you think that there has been, with whatever ideas you have, it doesn't matter whether you know all about project management, you know something about project management, or you don't know anything about project management. That, regardless of that, please just tell me in the chat when you see the pictures, whether, according to you, project management principles have been used. So here goes the first slide for that. And Even before that, I think I have to tell you what project management is. As I said, it is an application of processes, methods, skills, knowledge, and experience to achieve specific project objectives. So this you have to remember when you are answering the questions. Okay. So, and what does it do? What does project management enable us to do? It enables us to make or give the final deliverables that are constrained to a finite time scale and budget. So what we are talking about is using a scientific method to get some work done, okay, according to the objectives that were set for it. And it has to be within a specific time and a specific budget. Okay. So this is what you need to know. And against that, you need to tell us whether the pictures now that you will see used project management at all or not. So again, I repeat, it is a scientific process. It uses methods and skills and knowledge in order to achieve the goals that have been set or objectives that have been set before. And what is most important is there is a finite time and there is a budget involved. So Mabaiba says, wish I could have a couple of examples cited in relation to health to relate. No, I'm not going to. You know, the way I work, Mbaiba, I work like this. Let's start with no kind of coloring of your thinking. Let's start on a virgin ground, as they say. Let's start with nothing. I'm only giving you this as a clue. You know, sometimes we used to play those games when we were kids. We used to go hunting for clues and then try to solve a mystery. So let's play that game like that. Let's try to solve the mystery, which is project management, without having much prior knowledge, only a little bit of clues. Okay, so this is the clue I've given you. And here we go. My question here is, the pyramids of Giza, the Roman aqueducts, the Great Wall of China, you know that they are the 7 wonders of the ancient world. So do you think project management techniques were used? So if you, whatever your opinion, please write in the chat. I'm taking a look at it. These are the wonders of the ancient world, some of the wonders, not all of them. 7 wonders are there. These are 3 are from the ancient world. Do you think project management was used? Archie says yes. Elton says, of course, yes. Very emphatic. And Jonathan says yes. And Kutlaveno says yes. Okay, so all of you think that project management was used. Dr. Segwani says yes. Michael says yes. They are, because they have a beginning and an end. Oh, interesting. So those of you who know a little bit about the Giza pyramids will know that they were constructed over 15 to 2000 years. So I don't know whether there was a definite end to it or not. But Noah thinks yes. Infinix thinks yes, they are used. And Infinix is the name of your smartphone, I think. I don't know the name of the person. Dixon says yes. So practically, Philip, all of you think that, PM is used. Fair enough. I won't disagree till I come to my point of thing. Okay, you know about the Manhattan Project, which happened in the earlier part of the 20th century, where, the infamous Manhattan Project, which led to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. I'm sure all of you are aware of it. So that's the Manhattan Project. Then, of course, it was followed in the 50s by the Apollo mission, where, the human ambition being what it is, they wanted to place the man on the moon. So a man was placed on the moon using the Apollo mission. 1, 2, 3, 4. They were a series of missions. And, in India, a petrochemical factory was built. A massive, enormous facility was built within record time of 2 years, which is called the Jamnagar refinery. And, the company is Reliance. Of course, they have their presence in infrastructure projects in Africa also. So they built this Jamnagar refinery in record time within the budget that was allocated for this. So I'm getting some great answers. I like your enthusiasm, Jonathan. We actually apply some of the principles today, he says. We have Botsana Sedomu saying that no, because there was no specific time bound. Okay. Gabriel says certainly there was an objective and deliverables. In between, there were processes, methods, etc. Okay, so here is a whole plethora of answers, and I love that. Please keep letting them flow. It's interesting to see how your minds are working. And then I have another set of pictures for you. I have a ports and shipping, where you can see that there is a entire port there with all the containers and ships that leave all the goods in the containers there. Then we have power plants, we have weddings. Here is a typical Indian wedding. The Indian wedding market is a massive billions of dollars market, where people spend so much money on a big fat Indian wedding, so to say. So do you think these are also projects? Philip, you have changed your name. Thank you. Yeah, you've changed your name from Samsung to Philip. So now I can see your name and I can say, so hi. So please answer. So Archie continues to say, yes, sure, they are also project. Yes. Archie maintains his strong point, and his stand on what is a project. Joaz says yes. Mabaiva says yes, they are projects. Michael says yes, they are projects. I'm loving this because I know that you guys are going to make a very, very good. Florence also says yes. So even a wedding is a project. Very good. I like that. Definitely a project, someone says. Elton has a view here. He says the previous projects were not given time frame, but the next pictures are managed within the time frame. Okay, so that's a very interesting input that you have given. Dr. Segvini says, indeed they are. What about this? We have somebody who says healthcare. He wanted an example in healthcare. Here we are. We have a picture of a lady working in the pharma, R&D, healthcare, social and sustainability projects, restaurant and food services, even entrepreneurial ventures, perhaps. Are they? Do they use the project management principles? Okay, so Sedomo says, yes, they are projects because they have tight budget constraints as well as time frames. And Mike also says they are projects. So there we are. They are indeed all projects, except, except these. These cannot be called projects because in the ancient times, it was generally the emperor or the king or whoever, was in who patronized, and time and budget was never a constraint because it was their fancy. For instance, the pyramids of Giza, I know, I have visited, I've heard the history around it. It was for the pharaohs who thought that they have an afterlife and they have to be prepared for that afterlife. So they decided to make these tombs in such a way that they carried all the food, all their favorite, all their favorite things like clothes and slaves and everybody into the and the sarcophagus also. They had to they had to be buried in those big sarcophagus. They had all that inside the pyramid. So that was commissioned by the pharaohs and the subsequent generations of pharaohs, on and on and on. And it took a lot of time and a hell of a lot of budget, and people were killed or they were made to, get buried in that pyramid as soon as the pharaoh died. So along with him, his slaves also had to get into that too. So not really. There wasn't project management here because they had all the resources, they had all the time, and it was their fancy. You agree or you don't agree? Please write it in the chat. You agree or you don't agree with what I said about the pyramids? I'm waiting to get your feedback. Segwini says, I think it makes sense now about the pyramids. Yeah, thank you. Archie says, oh, wow. In that sense, it makes much sense. Yes, sensible Mona. Agree. Elton agrees. Sedomo says, just as I shared, I do agree. I had visited the pyramids as well. Very right. And Tato says, I agree. It was more of program, not project. Even if it was program, the fundamentals of program management come out of project management. Program management is the larger picture. Project is a subset of program. So whatever you say it is, whether, those logs came down the Nile, and all the stones that were cut upstream went down the Nile and right up to Alexandria, whatever be that, it was the fancy of the pharaoh, and that had to be fulfilled. Likewise, the Roman aqueducts, where as the Romans began to, acquire more and more territory, they needed to get the water and the infrastructure in place, because they needed to pull the water from one end where there was more water to places where there was less water. And the habitations were growing. So again, they did this, that aqueducts didn't have a time frame where within 2 years I have to build that aqueduct so that all the people over there and the soldiers or whoever were, posted there would get the water. There was no such thing. It was resources were allocated, no doubt. But where was the time? Where was the budget? Who says we don't have any kind of archive or archaeological, facts to say that there was an X amount of budget that was actually allocated for this, and they had to, all those civil, staff had to remain within budget. No such artifacts are available. Likewise, the Great Wall of China was built over 1500 to 2000 years, again by subsequent emperors, again in order to fortify China against invaders. So it was again a fancy, not really a fancy, but it was a strategic thought. But again, extending the wall, if you see, the wall goes on extending over 3,000 kilometers or 2,000 plus kilometers. The only thing that can be seen from the moon is the Great Wall of China. I have visited there. I know how long it is, how treacherous those mountains are, and the wall was built as one continuous, wall along those kilometers. So again, it was done. There used to be some gaps in the time, and again, it used to be taken up by another emperor. So not really any project management that we see. So Bhava says, I agree. As you mentioned, there was no time allocated and no budget set. Yes, we have someone who's saying that there were skills and all that were involved. Pelelo says that to some extent there was some project skills applied because skills and knowledge were used. Yes, in anything that you do, skills and knowledge is used. My friend who's visited Egypt will see that there was they take us to the first site, where they show us an unfinished pyramid. So that was where Imhotep, the architect of the later pyramids, had actually tried to make the first pyramid like structure, had failed. So they take us to that site in where they show us the failed pyramid site. Okay, so his all his dimensions had gone wrong, Imhotep's dimensions, and then afterwards he the other site where Giza is, those pyramids were properly well made. The methods and everything had been by then they had stabilized by first making the mistakes. So what you can see is that there is some part of it may be true, but the whole part of what we call project management does not stand true in this slide, because there was infinite resource. Maybe there was a great amount of time that was given to people, and of course there was also not the methods that were available. So there were trial and errors, so to say, as I gave you the example of Imhotep. So this is what you can understand. But as we moved into, I fast forwarded into the century just past us. We are now only in the 23rd year of the 21st century. But in the 20th century, you saw that there began to be a time-bound way in which the Second World War was on. Einstein and Niels Bohr and all these people had begun their physics and experiments in different kind of formulae with, the nuclear fission and the fusion, had all those kind of ways in which they could combine atoms. All that had begun happening, that R&D had begun happening. And this was called the secret Manhattan Project, which had been commissioned by the US president. But when the war began to loom large and when Europe began to get destroyed much faster than than you could say Jack Robinson, America had stepped in because the Pearl Harbor attack had happened. And that was quickly, because there was this R&D happening around that time, they quickly added more resources, and they shrunk the time. And they tried to get that bomb out faster, okay? Otherwise, it would never have happened. So from 1939 to 1945, when the war ended, you saw the war ended with the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So there you see that what had begun in the early 30s was quickly, there was no time frame at that time, but they were made to work. The scientists were made to work and get that bomb out as soon as possible. So also with the Apollo mission, when they realized that we can do things with lesser resources of time and human resource and budget, they began to then work on the space project with NASA having planned the project in such a way which is called based on PERT and CPM. Okay, now all these are technical terms, so I will not go into it this time, but they found a way of program evaluation and review technique, that is PERT. So they kept on seeing how they were proceeding using the resources and what was the outcome. If the outcome was good, then go into the next, use a faster method and so on. So for the first time, scientific ways of doing things for a purpose began to happen. And we see with the Jamnagar refinery, it was an excellent example where this whole company at the global level also got lots and lots of awards for doing this on time. So Archie says, sorry, I missed you on the first Manhattan project. What was that Manhattan project? Archie, you can always Google. It was, and you can find out everything about the Manhattan project. It was a project which was, gave us a nuclear bomb, which was used for the first time to bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Okay. So now, by the time Jamnagar happened in the early 2000s and all, or the last part of the 1990s decade, project management had really come into its own. There are people like us, like me, who had begun to make a scientific study and add a lot of academic research in order to increase this body of knowledge. So yes, project management therefore began to be applied as an industry agnostic. That means across all industries, you can use the principles of project management, so much so that even in your personal lives, you can use the principles of project management to really enhance your life. Okay, so weddings also use project management. In fact, they are very, very important projects to complete in life. So they have budgets, they have time, they have everything has to be perfect, because in that day, on that very event must come off as one of your best events and most memorable events. So for that, you have to work with a lot of hard work and scientifically use principles to enable that to happen. No randomness and ad hocism works here. And of course, today project management is there across the board, even when you are an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur now. I was an academic a few years ago. I taught project management. Now we therefore got around to following it also. As an entrepreneur, I know how much it makes sense to use the principles of project management. And as I said, it is industry agnostic. Many of you here may be doing social projects. Many of you may be having your own businesses. Some of you may be working in healthcare, in restaurants, in agriculture, in any of the vocations that you are, you all can use project management. So here we are, even in art and craft, mining, schools, textiles, you name it, and project management is there. So why project management? Why are we spending this afternoon trying to understand project management? So I think I need to tell you that you're game for it. Please show me your reactions. Happy, sad, all right. Let me know. Are you okay? Am I making sense? I'm waiting. I want your reactions. I want your feedback. Okay, you're the first, Mabaiva. You have raised your hand. You're happy. Thank you. And what says the chat? Yes, everybody is fine. Mukhtar says he's fine. Archie says he's fine. Okay, so we go ahead with that. Tato thinks this is very funny, but yeah, I need to know, Tato. I need to know how things are with you, you know. So cool, and it's going well, Mike says. Thank you so much. Why project management? Now we come to the serious part of things. What is that serious part of things? Look at that. Look at the title up there. Difference in the employment by age and sectors between 2025 and 2030. Now you're seeing a rapid change. Look, concentrate on the square which is above, you know, which is not in the square, rather, agriculture and forestry and extractive industries. And look at the one below where we have education and we have public administration and defense. These are negative job givers, whereas manufacturing, energy, construction, distribution, retail, hotels, catering, transport and storage, information and communication, and all other services, you see that the need for people hires, I mean those where we need to ensure that employment is there, is growing, because these are the industries which are growing while the other industries are reducing. You know that mining and all these are on the decline. By 2050, mining and extraction industries like oil, etc., are going to see a major decline, and green is going to grow. So sustainable businesses will be growing. So if retail has to grow, for instance, distribution, retail, hotels, catering. So if retail has to grow, food retail has to grow, agriculture has to grow. So we need to divert our resources into agriculture. And when we say resources, it's not just money, it's also people. Okay. So you see where the sectors are. You see, Africa is known for its mines, its minerals. It's a very mineral-rich country. Nigeria is known for its oil. And you know that you all are dependent on this to even get your foreign exchange at the moment. But this is going to change globally. These extractive industries are going to get out, as renewable energies is going to be the major source of powering our economies, our countries, and so on and so forth. So you need to be there. You just need to be there, you know, before anyone else can take that away from you. So look at this. Green industries will have a net creation of jobs, which will be around 18 million by 2030. And this is a report by the International Labour Organization, which was published in 2016. So they have tried to see for the next 15 years at that time, how many new jobs are going to get created and what is the ratio of jobs created per unit of green investment. Because there's a rapid investment in everything green. And I think, I really, from the bottom of my heart, I believe that Africa should leapfrog. Africa should not go through the pain that other countries have, African countries, I should say, because Africa, I say, is a continent, and I refer to the whole continent, which is so mineral rich. I say that you should not go through the pain that other countries have gone through in their economic development. I think you can leapfrog by by adopting green methods and investing in green ventures more, so that you don't fall behind in in the general economic growth. So if you see here, you'll see right in the center that methane emissions, carbon capture, utilization and storage, and nuclear energy, these are creating the least jobs, whereas building efficiency is creating 2.8 million jobs per annum, and ecosystem restoration is making even more jobs happen, which is up to 3.7 million. And of course, others also, like which are in hydropower, wind energy, and solar, photovoltaic, geothermal, industrial efficiency. All the people are moving towards getting jobs over there. And the investment that is for every unit of investment made in green, we are getting the jobs, the net creation of jobs. Very interesting to see where the world is moving. I want you to look at this slide for another couple of seconds before I go to the next slide. So the dependence on fossil fuels is going to reduce, and clean energy is going to begin. So you have to think of those things for yourselves when you think of employment. Now, when we are moving towards green industries, what are the skills that are going to be required? They are going to be specific, they're going to be generic, and they're going to be transformative skills also. So here is a long, long list. I will not go through it, but it will help you to know. You can take a screenshot of this, or you can take a little pic so that you know which are those skills that are going to be very, very important in the years to come. Because you are going to be there. We will fade away, but you people are going to be on this earth longer than we are. So this is an important thing for you. And, you need to know what it is going to be for you. So here we are, specific skills that are going to be important for green jobs, business skills, data analysis, engineering, entrepreneurship, and so on, innovation, finance skills, sales, scientific, technological, gender empowerment. Those are skills for green jobs. Green life skills will have something like adaptability, collaboration, collaborative thinking. I saw one little chat over there where Tato was saying, I'm enjoying the subject, doing this is a dream come true. And the poor fellow, Markson, says that no sound, my network is poor, Markson says. So I feel sorry for you, Markson, but because you shared this, I can feel for you. So this is what I mean by, having that open and that collaborative spirit whereby, we feel for one another, we work with one another. Faith says, please do share with us your presentation slides via email after your presentation. Yeah, we'll do that. Coping with uncertainty, coping with emotions. And the most important, according to me, is critical thinking and reasoning. Unless and until you people learn how to do critical thinking, you will not be able to survive the times to come. So what are the skills for green transformation? If I were given you as a bunch of people to work with, I would look at changing your mindsets, changing your behaviors, changing your outlook and vision towards transforming you towards green. So what are those skills that you would have to acquire, that I would have to inculcate among you? Those would be something like ability to analyze unequal systems of power, coalition building, collective action, disruptive as opposed to normative thinking. So you have to think in a very, very creative manner. Interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary way of thinking. These are some that I have given you. Transcultural, transspatial, transtemporal mindsets. So we don't remain, confined to our narrow ways of, territory and the way we do things. We grow ourselves into learning how benchmarks are set in other places, try to follow that and change it, of course, modify it and follow it for yourselves, so on and so forth. All these are the skills you will have to acquire. A very important slide. Now let's come to African youth and the employability challenges that you have. India doesn't have any the less. We have serious challenges in India too. But when we look at, obviously the discussion is not about India, but all of us, why I mentioned this is because the developing world or the middle income countries like India, we have our own issues to grapple, and the less developed countries around the world have even bigger problems to grapple. So a report by the African Development Bank says that half of all youth in Africa are either unemployed or inactive, while 35% are in vulnerable jobs. Now, this is not a very healthy way of living, you can say. So either they are straight away unemployed, or they may be somewhere listed in a job, but actually they are not performing, they're not on the job, their just names are there. And 35% of these are in jobs which they should not be in. They are vulnerable jobs. That means either those jobs will go off any moment and they will get into the unemployed category, or they are liable for dangerous jobs and stuff like that. So it's a very a serious situation. Also, within that, gender inequality remains a huge challenge, a big concern and paradox, because youth employment rate is increasing with the level of education. So even though you all are getting more and more educated, African education system is unable to provide youth with employment. So that is a serious dichotomy and a serious issue for the whole of the continent, where skilled and youth with some degree of education are unable to find jobs. So that is exactly why we can ask the question, when do we need project management? Which are those areas where project management comes to the fore, where you need these kind of situation, where there are these kind of situations and they need a certain kind of people. So where do we need project management? Typically when the jobs are complex, when there is complexity in the job. A simple job is not a complex job, obviously. I mean, I'm stating the obvious. Carrying head loads, for instance, on a road project is not a complex job, but planning, designing and executing a port project or a power plant is definitely a very, very complex assignment. The second situation where project management is required is when the environment is changing very, very fast. So you see in finance, for instance, the value of your currency is changing all the time. It's every day, it's fluctuating. The stock market also fluctuates and so on. And even in the metal bourses, you see the price of metals or the commodities go on changing very, very fast. So it's a complex situation. That's the time you need a critical thinking person like a project manager who can make a difference. Okay. So when there is a dynamic environmental consideration, when the constraints are tight, that means like a soldier, you are having to fight with your hands, turned, with your hands tied back, so to say. So that's when, a project manager is really required. So when there is a problem, then the person who does it all is not James Bond, but he's a project manager. Remember that. So wherever there is a constraint, there is a project manager who performs. Are there several activities to be integrated? You should ask this question. So if it is, pulling together different disparate activities, that situation requires a project manager. And if there are several functional boundaries that have to be crossed, so if there's a situation so complex where I need to work with design, I need to work with structure, I need to work with integration, I need to work with people of different talent, that's when I know I need a project manager who will be able to deliver. Or the situation is ideal to use the methods, principles, systems, processes that project management brings to the table. Is this clear? Please indicate to me before I go to the next slide. So not everything requires complex project management. There are certain very simple situations which can be managed. But you have to ask, if the situation is complex, if it is dynamic, if the constraints are tight, if activities have to be integrated, and if functional boundaries need to be crossed. That's when project management is ideal. Have you understood? Yes? No? Okay? Fine? Quickly, tell me. Okay, doctor says yes. Thank you. Mukhtar says he's fine. Okay. Jonathan says yes. Archie says understood. Fair enough. Great. So we go to the skills of a project manager. How many of you think you can, you're the ones, you can do it? You just have to look at this. Anybody with result orientation within the constraints of available resources and performance requirements are ideal for this. So they can plan. For instance, so many of you, if you remember your school picnics, or you remember your school fete or parties, or even parties when you all were in college or are in college, you always had a small budget and you had to make that work for yourselves, where everybody got some good stuff to eat. There was a little bit of dancing, there was a little bit of music, there was all that went into that party, and it had to be memorable, correct? So y'all used to try your hardest to get those people into the, to serve you, or the vendors from where you would buy, say, your cake or your other stuff, and try to make it so memorable that everybody would come to you and say, hey, that was a great party. So result orientation is something that is absolutely required with accurate planning. Leadership. So this requires leadership. This requires decision making. So suppose that vendor is unreliable, then you have to choose another vendor. If he says, I'm going to deliver all that just 15 minutes before the party begins, some of you would say, no, we need it at least 1 hour before the party begins. We don't want to be in a situation where, people are there and we are waiting for the food to arrive and stuff like that. So whatever may be that case, you have to take decisions on every single thing. And that's when, that you are a good project manager if everything falls in place properly and that party becomes a memorable one. Negotiations for needed resources and resolution of conflicting demands and conflict resolution. We've gone through all this, all our lives we do this. When there is a bunch of people and we have to get something done, we bring all these skills out into the open. We have Coyote who says, how do we incorporate project management into the pension industry in terms of brand promotion, advertisement, and product campaigns? So it's a huge answer to give you. Okay, Coyote, you can do it because this requires integrated marketing communication. That's all I can say for the moment because I don't have time to cover so much more. Florence says, I believe I got it. The skills, I mean. Of course you do, Florence. That's why you're in this session today. Let me tell you, women make very good project managers. Just a tip. There is a lot of research that supports that women make very good project managers because we have the behavioral skills, we have the leadership skills, we have the ability to take the team along and not have issues with the team, so that makes it, just because Florence wrote that, I'm giving you this input, which is a very well-researched, documented input that women make good project managers. So anyways, we have this McKinsey Global Institute's little bit of data, which says that there are going to be some skills that are fading out of the developed countries. And you can see the top skills that are fading out by 2030, you will see that skills which include basic numeracy are fading out. Okay. Offense says, yes, I have the skills for project management, having participated in mega projects. Wow. So good to have you here. So anyway, we are here. Skills which include basic numeracy are the cashiers, customer service staff. All these are going to go. These jobs are not going to remain there by 2030 in developed countries. You can see the picture there, you can see what's happening in Western Europe, and you can see what's happening in the United States. And also another kind of skills that we had acquired earlier in, the seniors had acquired, not the youngsters, of course, the seniors, low-level data inputs such as typists and clerks, those are also feeding, because now we have virtual assistants. In Europe, there are less people, so they rely a lot more on technology. So they use virtual assistants. Then even if you go into retail, there aren't any cashiers. You have to just actually, I whenever I visit UK and the malls, I see for myself that my son goes to the kiosk, he just puts in whatever he has bought. It is RFID, so they have seen and they have been able to capture what has been bought and what the rates are. All that comes up over there is the total amount of bill, and that bill number is matched with the amount of that bill. You just pay that bill by credit card and walk out. So their human dependence is going down so fast that by 2030, you see a massive reduction in the use of cashiers, in the employment of cashiers, customer service staff, or typists and clerks. So obviously the rates are different as per region. Obviously in Africa, you may be having more people like we do in India. But yes, in Europe, I just thought I should give you an idea that jobs fade and new jobs take their place. But the project management people are required in every kind of job and every kind of industry. Archie says, why women? Is that their natural ability? Yes, women have a natural ability to kind of bring people together. They have less ego, and they look at consensus. That's why and that's what projects are, very conflicted situations. It's very typical to have conflicts in a project. So we need the project manager to actually take people along. Okay. So that's a very strong skill to have. So is this okay? I just wanted to tell you that skills are not cast in stone. They change. The kind of jobs and the kind of roles people had at some point in time may not be there at some other point in time. Okay. So you have to know that you have to keep on being very, very productive all the time, and you need to be changing your skill sets as the time goes by, as they say. So some fast fading skills that will become obsolete are physical skills in nature, those which are manual and all. And even now that AI helps in composing music and everything. So it's quite scary sometimes, but people like us should never get scared of all these things, right? We should just be prepared better. So let's look at what skills we need to have to navigate the future. So the skills that are required, that we need to cultivate, and those which are taught in your project management programs, are dealing with higher cognitive skills, which means that those who are in project managers or doctors, accountants, research analysts, writers, editors, they typically use higher cognitive skills. Okay. So these are in the form of quantitative and literacy and writing, complex information that they can analyze and they can make sense of. Social and emotional, or so-called soft skills, those are also going to be important for the future. Again, what Florence had said, that she's good at it, it's because of this. The ability to have good communication, negotiation, empathy, the ability to learn, to manage others, to be adaptable. All these are part of soft skills. And also business development skills like programming, emergency response, counseling, all that comes into that. And technological, of course, is that you need to know more of technology. You need to, all those who work on complex infrastructure projects and finance projects in banking, BFSI, as they say, banking, finance, securities, and insurance, in that space, require also to know technology to a very large extent. along with cognitive skills. Okay. So engineers, robotics, scientific experts, software developers, all of them use a lot of technology and they are skilled at it. What you need to know is that project managers across all streams of industries need and employ the above skills in their work lives. So if you see project managers, you will see that they are employing all these all or the majority of these skill sets while they are performing the job of project manager. So cognitive orientation of the individual. Now we'll go into every specific. For instance, the cognitive we did over here. So I'm giving you some of the characteristics of the cognitive skills. They are diverse. Your ability to have multi skills is the cognitive skill. Analytical abilities, abilities to plan, organize, direct, execute, and control a project. Financial understanding, which entails cost and schedule control, and technically qualified, and leadership and communication skills. So these are what you should know. The second is, what are the competencies? So if you don't have them, you first build your skills. Beyond that, by doing it over and over and over again, you build your competency. So see what the project manager needs to have in the inventory of skill sets. First, as I said, is communication, very strong communication skills, leadership skills, because they are actually critical. They're just not sufficient to be there. They are supposed to be there. And if they are not there, you can't really operate as a project manager. It's not enough. You have to have leadership skills. The skill to organize, to negotiate, to manage teams, to manage time, to manage risk, which is something that we deal with every single day. Problem solving, budget management, motivation of all the team members around you. It is very difficult to, get work done. Maury, you have raised your hand. Do you have a question? If you do, please put it in the chat. And if it's by mistake, then just take the hand, remove the reaction. Maury, I hope you can hear me, Maury Sylvester. You have to know how to manage resources, motivate and encourage others, being decisive and working well under pressure. Yes, stress is given and you should be able to overcome that stress. Being aware and managing the impact of the project on the stakeholders. Now I come to what's happening in Africa. I'm so happy when I saw that there's tremendous potential for jobs and businesses for you if you learn project management. Because there is a shortage. There is a massive shortage of project managers in Africa as the situation stands. The latest talent gap report by Project Management Institute shows that at least 2.3 million people will be needed each year by the year 2030. 2.3 million every year of project management people who have those skills in project management are required across the globe. So to remain competitive, companies will need to hire problem solvers and relationship builders. And if you see, as I said, you need to have critical technical skills as well as people skills, which deal with, people and how to keep them motivated. So you need to be good at both. Sub-Saharan Africa will witness a 40% growth in project management employment opportunities. So Archie says, true, it took me 3 months to find one in my company when I had a project to undertake at one of the mining companies. There you are. Where are you from, Archie? Which part of Africa are you from? I'm sure you're one of those countries where there's a lot of mining happening. In fact, so many of my ex-students have got jobs in Gabon, they have got jobs in Zambia, they've got jobs in Tanzania, Kenya, and Botswana, and South Africa, where a lot of mining is happening. So you're in the copper belt, Kitwe. Okay, yeah, nice to know. So construction, energy, and information technology sectors are well placed to play a key role in the sub-Saharan economy as job creators. So there you are. Here's where the potential is the most. You know now you can do this project management program that Edubex has designed, and you can try and apply for any of these in any of these areas. And if not in these areas, anywhere, project management is something that is industry agnostic. It is used across industries. I've shown you that in the earlier slides. Demand for industry-ready project professionals is essential. So as Archie writes there, it is so difficult to find a project manager. And we need these, industry-ready pros. And those who learn project management become industry-ready and therefore employable. So executives who work in industries, top executives, they have rated project management as the most critical power skill to have. Mastering such behaviors and core technical skills will make project professionals more valuable and probably less vulnerable in case where job market opportunities are declining. So project management is a good insurance, is a good bulwark against the uncertainty of the job market. Okay, so I have a quote here by a Kenya-based writer called Vanya Morikio, who says that project professionals have become one of the more expensive hires because demand is so high. So not only are you all in great demand, you also get more money because of the shortage of skilled project managers. So Archie says, true, the reason why I'm going for it. Yes, Archie, go for it. And I bless you that you will get more money and more opportunities as time goes by. And that's true for all who have signed up today. So GDP is risk. This is very interesting to see that which countries across the globe have high risk because they are declining. Their project management requirement is declining. So you'll see that the sub-Saharan Africa has negative risk. So what does this imply? And MENA, the North Africa and Middle East have least, GDP at risk in USD billion. What does this mean? This means that you have so much potential. You're not a saturated market. You have potential to actually use project management skills, and those other countries where Europe and China, in fact, the most vulnerable is China, because they have reached that maturity stage and now there is nothing more to do. And therefore, the GDP risk of project management, contribution to the GDP is going to decline. Whereas y'all are just getting started. Okay, so Latin America, Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, you will see that those, and of course, MENA, these regions have the least risk when it comes to project management. So here you'll see the percentage of growth in project management oriented enterprises in the years 2019 to 2030. Sub-Saharan Africa is going to increase the most in the world, with 40% increase in the requirement for project managers. MENA follows, then South Asia, then Latin America, China, North America, Asia Pacific, and Europe is going to go into the negative. So here we are. This is, I cannot say the truth better than what I have by showing you this slide. I'm at the end of my session and I'm willing to take the Q&A. I will stop the share and you can ask me questions. I can also take your questions. I will pass this on to, yeah. Renu, I have to make you the host now. I can't see you. Where is Edubex? I can't see you in the participants. Edubex. Yeah, I'll do that. Huh?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mona. And it was a very, very beautiful session, I must say. A big whole project management program she summarized in 45 minutes, along with the potentials. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. And I'm pretty sure that you all are having quite a lot of doubts also, and you wish to have the recordings of this session. So for time being, I'm just going to put a Google form on the chat box, so that you can start filling it. And at the same time, please do raise your hand if you have any questions to ask her. Okay, I have a thank you message from Tega Edoja. Thank you so much. And ma'am, it's for you. Yes, Tech Affairs is the person. Yes, have unmuted you. Can go ahead.
Hello. Yes. Hello, greetings. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
All right.
Tell me.
Yes, my name is Emmanuel Okong. I represent Tech Affairs Nigeria. I'm joining in from Uyo, Nigeria.
Okay.
All right. My question I want to ask you, when you were still explaining project management, you said that project management is a scientific process. So now I want to get clarification. There are some people who also believe that project management is an art. So I want to ask you, is project management, doesn't it also have the art perspective? Is it only scientific?
See, anything that involves human beings has to have some degree of art in it. When we say art, we mean that it's difficult to predict every single thing that happens to a human, right?
Okay.
So why do we need the scientific way of doing things? We need the scientific way because we know that if it is done in with a certain method, with a certain process in place, the chances of success are always more. Everybody on a project speaks the same language, and everybody then executes the project in a certain manner, which is as per the method. Whereas if it is art, just think that you are, you're a painter or something. Today you have the mood to paint, tomorrow you don't. So the canvas remains where it is, half unfinished. That can't happen if it's in project management because there's a limited budget, there's a limited time, and your resources are limited, and you have to execute within that. So there's no way you will be able to, say that when I get my mood next, I will complete the project. Then it doesn't remain project. Okay. Then it becomes just your own, what the pharaohs did, you're doing yourself. It doesn't become like that. So when we say, and when we researchers applied our mind to this whole action oriented, like we apply ourselves to this whole domain of executing large projects or even small projects, we brought in the scientific thinking in terms of the planning, the allocation of resources, the execution, the monitoring and control, and the closure of the project. Because projects are not open, like they went on for 1500 years, as I was giving the example. They have a definite closure time. So we have to close out the project also. And so to that extent, it is scientific. I hope I've answered your question.
I think
Okay, we have the next question from Kate. Yes, Ms. Kate, you can go ahead.
Yes, Katie. Katie has joined from her iPhone, so perhaps she's having difficulty in actually. Katie is mute.
Yeah, she's trying to. Yeah, she's unmute now.
Hello.
Yes, Kate.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, Kate, we can hear you.
Okay, first I want to say a big thank you to the convener of this powerful program, and the lecture is facts. I've actually learned a lot, but then I felt that this is not enough. That this is just the basis for me, and before I don't have an idea. Like I used to hear about project management, and I used to see it as something very hard even to go into. But thanks to the lecturer that made this very simple, and that I'm very much interested. But then my question goes thus that as I happens to be the convener of an NGO, and from our NGO there are different positions, different offices, and which what's it called? The project management is actually one of it. So which at first there's nobody to fill that gap, and we call for more volunteers that are very good in that area, even to come and fill that for us. Even we are even willing to pay. But then my question just said that, okay, that with this lecture that I've gotten, is this the basis, or is this everything that I needed for this to fill that position as a project manager, or like can I file in to be the project manager for that organization, or I still need more training? Which that's what I'd like to hear from the convener. And if there is any further training, I would say that me as a person, I'm interested, and I would like to learn more. And thanks again to the convener.
Renu, I think that is for you.
Yeah, I guess I guess you were referring to the courses about the project management, right? Yeah, I'll just briefly explain to you since in answer to that question also. Yes, we do have, two kind of courses. One is at the advanced level, which is, the postgraduate diploma for the project management. And we have the foundation course, which is, if you are already into a project management and you want to have, a kind of knowledge, or you want to start from a beginner level. Two different types of courses are available with the Edubex for project management. And to know more about the course, I have actually put down a Google form down there so that you can answer to it, and our advisor can reach to you for the right choice, of course, whether the beginner level or the advanced level. Thank you. And I think we have two more hands raised. Yes, Mr. Adamu, you can go ahead with the question.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. I would like to appreciate the convener of this program. Thank you so much for the lecture, and then open our eyes to actually see the future, and giving us an in-depth understanding of what will happen in the nearest future. But I would like to ask that what are the basic things that a beginner needs to look out for, like a person starting up in projects and management? That what does it need to look out for in carrying out a project? Thank you. Did you get my question, ma?
Yes, I think the question is for you, ma'am.
Is that for me? I mean, I thought it was more for you, but yes, I can take that question, Adamu. It actually means what you need to have is an orientation. As I said, you should like complexity, you should like uncertainty, you should have the, you should be able to say that whatever the circumstances, I will deliver. This is the way you can then learn to take the good with the bad, with the ugly, so to say, because projects are not always rosy situations. There could be a time when there is a bit of a crisis that may arise. And that's when your leadership, really comes to the fore. For those that are, those areas where there are complex projects, such as technically complex, such as construction or power plants and so on and so forth, there you need to have some technical background, even if it is basic technical, like at K-12, or any even beyond that as an engineer or something, or IT skills, those are essential, or at least the ability to learn them. You should have that orientation that even if you don't have them today, you will acquire the basics over a period of time. And, that is what you need to have, nothing other than that. But as I said, it is only for the highly technical, sectors that you need some technical inputs. But the rest, project management is a very, very simple and very, actually, when you begin practicing it, it becomes part of your nature. You just live through that because you allocate resources, you see that things get completed on time. You just begin to live like that. So to me, project management skills are life skills because they enable us to go through life pretty easily. I hope I've answered you, Adamu. But
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
When you learn it through Edubex, you will learn it in a more formal manner because that is being taught to you because you're going to lead teams. That is at the back of our minds when we design the curriculum for you, so that it will enable you to lead your teams. It will enable you to start your business if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur. Any of these things you want to do, whether you want to be in a job or you want to be giving jobs, project management skills are essential skills.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, again, we have the tech affairs. I think the first person who asked the question to you.
Can we take Dr. Segwini first?
Dr. No, okay, he unmuted. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Segwini, will take him next.
Hello.
Please. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Once again, my name is this question concerning project management in the age of artificial intelligence. Project management in the age of artificial intelligence. My question is, will AI getting project management as its skill, just as AI is also affecting other hard skills? Thank you.
Very good question. Very good question. I love the question. He's trying to ask us, what is the role of project management in the time of AI? When artificial intelligence is growing so much, how is AI going to, help us? So only AI is going to help you. Let me tell you that, because only project management is going to help you, because project management requires, as you saw in my PPT also, very high critical thinking and creative ability. So y'all are the people who will be able to solve problems with the help, but not being overpowered by AI, because y'all will know how much you want to use artificial intelligence. You should be able to only use that much, any of these facilities like AI, where you don't give up your thinking abilities in favor of AI. The day you stop doing, you give up thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, that's the time the machine will become more important than you. So if you're a project manager, we will ensure that you work with AI, but AI doesn't become more important. You should never allow that to happen. And that's not related to PM as such. It's related, this message is for all of you, not to stop using your mind, because that's the only thing that has got us humans to where we are. We can't allow, this is a very philosophical, I'm saying this, we can't allow the machine to become better than us, because we keep on using menu-driven options and stop thinking. Every time the phone will tell you what to do, will give you stuff which you have clicked on earlier. So it becomes so smart that it goes on feeding you only the stuff that you have clicked on earlier. They stop you from thinking that there is another world out there, and therefore you have to always be smarter. It's earlier we used to say the policeman has to be smarter than the thief. Now we say the man has to be smarter than the machine. Okay, all the time. This is a very generic advice that I'm giving you for all of you. Never allow that machine to become smarter than you. Never allow. Keep thinking, keep on asking questions, keep on finding answers. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I think we have Dr. Segwini now. Dr. Segwini, please unmute from your end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mona. That was a very insightful presentation and an eye-opener at the same time. Okay, I'm a civil engineer who have been involved in managing civil engineering projects. But I think I'm a bit struggling where to place myself, whether I need to start with the foundation or enroll on the advanced project management program. So that's where I was a bit struggling, where to place myself. And then the second one would be the recognition of your program internationally. Because I look at it and I see level 7 project management or level 4 or 3 and 4. How is it recognized internationally? The certificate, and how will it be how is it recognized? And affiliations also. What are you affiliated to, or your program affiliated to? Thank you.
Yeah, I think the question is for me. And yes, the affiliation to this program this has been awarded by the awarding body, which is known as the OTHM. And this is an awarding body from UK, and this is OFCIL approved, which is making it, a worldwide acceptance. That is, if you are doing for a level 7 program, that is advanced level, if you're completing, then you can directly enter into a university to do your master's. That is, just by doing a consultancy project, you can get your MSc in project management. Whereas if you're doing the beginner level, then you are doing a qualification which is equivalent to diploma. In either of the cases, both the qualifications, like I said, is approved from OFCIL, and at the same time, this is VES approved also. So I hope I'm clear on that end. And yes, we have Mr. Tato Mutusi. Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, like you have said, I'm Tato, actually from Botswana, and I'm the current student of the 7th level diploma project management with Edubex, and it's really a wonderful course that I'm enjoying doing. And today, Dr. Mona, I think, has done us a great justice by expounding, in fact, in terms of career related on what one can do. Because currently in my country, the University of Botswana is only offering project management, but theirs is actually focused on construction. And me comparing what I'm getting from Edubex, it is so huge that one can go into, the manufacturing, such as, maybe pharmaceuticals or agriculture, like she has just, shown on that pictures. And I appreciate the course. And like Doctor was asking there about accreditation. Currently in my country, there are 2 people who has done strategic management with Edubex. This is just a testimony. Our Botswana qualified authority body has actually approved it. I have seen somebody who has actually applied to further his studies now into masters in the University of Botswana, and that person has been actually accepted by the University of Botswana. Now, I'm just saying this as a testimony because I have decided to come a recruiting member for Edubex for people who want to do the either course, because I have seen the quality of the modules, the syllabus, and because I'm a student, I've gone through classes, and I've seen how it is easy to use the Canvas and all that. It is actually one of the best online studies that one can actually venture into in order to further his or her studies. And also, the support that we got from people that we are given when we submit assignment or when we want to ask questions related to what we do. It's actually superb. And any of my colleagues who was part of this today, you know, I want to encourage you that this is actually the best platform by so far that I have actually seen. And don't hesitate. This is the right platform. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know the time is already exceeded. And yes, we'll take one more question. And in the meantime, please, I can put the questions in the chat box also. Yes. Yeah, Maury Sylvester, you can go ahead with your question.
I'm really happy about all the information about project management. I really saw that this program, it was so good, really. I just want to ask question, but really already the question already answered, because I don't know if doctor already present the question, but I have already get the understanding. But I hope the program is so good, because I already listened certain point, certain knowledge for the program. Really, thank you very much. I hope say we need to continue.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Mori. And to all those who want to know more about the course in the project management, please do fill the form so that we can save the time. Ma'am, can we take one more question from Mr. Philip? Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Mr. Philip, you can go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes. I want to know that can scientific project management work without frequent financial inflows? Or in that case, if there is a financial difficulties, does it tend to be an act? Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am, the question is to you, right, ma'am?
Yeah, thank you. Philip, very good question. What happens when financial resources ebb and flow and ebb and flow? You know, so a very good question. That's exactly when project managers, you know, feel the pain, but then they rise to the occasion, because resources are not infinite. So whenever you have something where there is a finiteness to the whole thing, resources, whether time, whether money, whether man, whether machine, they are not. So given the limitation of resources, the project manager has to deliver. So that's the time. Sometimes projects go into a limbo. Sometimes projects are then revived again. But the project manager learns to use all this and knows the constraints and works against these constraints. So yes, I cannot say that all projects flow smoothly and money being poured into the project. The reality is quite the opposite. But great project managers have a vision. They plan ahead. They use the resources optimally, and they deliver the quality that has been promised to the customer in the same way that it had been. So yes, it helps if you are a good project manager. You can, you know, stretch that money a little more because of your smart thinking, compared to someone who doesn't understand project management and blows up the cash or burns up the cash without thinking about how it will affect the whole project in the future. So you do learn all that. It is something called earned value analysis. Okay, so you keep doing that as you go along, but that's again a technical part of it. We don't talk about it today. And talking to Dr. Segvini, who's a civil engineer, you have to do the postgraduate, because civil engineers, all those who are engineers are generally taught the basics while they are doing their engineering. So please think of a learning higher than what you have already been doing at graduation. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And there's one more question that is from Archie Kepose. That will be the final question. Yes, Mr. Archie, go ahead.
Archie will have to unmute himself first.
Yeah, please unmute from your end, because I'm giving the request to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to thank Juso from Botswana for having availed us that very beautiful and awesome testimony, especially to us who are new entrants to Edubex. So thank you so much for that. And it's very encouraging. And personally, I'm so very much encouraged. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Archie. And yes, for the learners who's coming from Botswana and Ghana, please note that the course is approved by the tertiary education, that is Botswana Qualification Authority, as well as from the Ghana also. The tertiary education has approved this program. Okay. And yes, thank you so much. And like I said, that the time was already exceeded. It's than the scheduled time. But yes, it was a very, very nice session. And, we were like so engaged into it. I'm very heartfelt thanks to Dr. Shah for that, for making us so interactive and entertaining as well. Thank you so much, ma'am. And also to all the dear learners, just before I wind up, once again, let me just remind you, there is a Google form for you to fill. I know quite a number of people have been filled it. You will be contacted from our student advisor from tomorrow onwards or from the next working day. Thank you so much and for being with us, and have a great evening. Thank you.